This is Rachel from readthehardparts.com. We're going to read Revelation chapter 17. We're going to be marking these keywords as we go along so we can focus on big themes, and we're also going to find one thing to meditate on today from Revelation 17. Then one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the judgment of the great prostitute who is seated on many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed sexual immorality, and with the wine of whose sexual immorality the dwellers on earth have become drunk." And he carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names, and it had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and jewels and pearls, holding in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the impurities of her sexual immorality. And on her forehead was written a name of mysteries: Babylon the Great, mother of prostitutes and of earth's abominations. And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints, the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. When I saw her, I marveled greatly. But the angel said to me, "Why do you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns that carries her. The beast that you saw was and is not, and is about to rise from the bottomless pit and go to destruction. And the dwellers on the earth whose names have not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world will marvel to see the beast, because it was and is not and is to come. This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman is seated. There are also 7 kings, 5 of whom have fallen. One is, the other has not yet come, and when he does come, he must remain only a little while. As for the beast that was and is not, it is an 8th, but it belongs to the 7, and it goes to destruction. And the 10 horns that you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received royal power, but they are to receive authority as kings for 1 hour together with the beast. These are of one mind, and they hand over the power and the authority to the beast. They will make war on the Lamb, and the Lamb will conquer them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and those with him are called and chosen and faithful. And the angel said to me, "The waters that you saw, where the prostitute is seated, are peoples and multitudes and nations and languages. And the 10 horns that you saw, they and the beast will hate the prostitute. They will make her desolate and naked, and devour her flesh and burn her up with fire. For God has put into their hearts to carry out his purpose by being of one mind and handing over the royal power to the beast until the words of God are fulfilled. And the woman that you saw is the great city that has dominion over the kings of the earth." Okay, so in Revelation 17, we see this prostitute with the beast. And this definitely sounds like a strange chapter, doesn't it? And so there's a couple things to point out. First of all, we have Babylon, and we know the history of Babylon from the Old Testament. They're the one who conquered Judah and send the Israelites into exile. So we see this as an evil nation. We see this nation as those who do not follow God and his ways. Here we see that's the name of this woman. She's also called the mother of prostitutes and earth's abominations. So some apply this to Babylon in the past. Some apply this term to say that John is speaking kind of secretively of Rome. But the commentaries that I read kind of said this is kind of bigger than that, because she's the mother of prostitutes. And just this Babylon and this prostitute kind of represent just evil nations in general, evil that's enticing us away from who God is. It's also interesting to note in Revelation 17, this is when he's carried away in the spirit into a wilderness. This phrase "in the spirit" is mentioned 4 times. The next time that in Revelation, the next time we'll see it is in chapter 21, when we see the bride of the Lamb. And so we kind of see this contrast of the bride of the Lamb, who is Christ's followers, and then the world here, and those that's trying to entice away from God's ways. Also, another thing to note here in this paragraph is how God is still in charge of these evil nations, and that's a good comfort to us too when things in different governments around the world just look out of control. We see here, for God has put into their hearts to carry out his purposes. So God's purposes are still there in evil nations. The thing I'm going to focus on here is those who are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And if you'd like, you can look in different scriptures where it talks about Jesus's followers being called, chosen, and faithful. And that's what I'm going to focus on today, remembering that that's who I am. I am called, chosen, and faithful because I trust in Jesus Christ as my Savior. Comment and let me know what you noticed from the chapter, and let me know if you have any questions about Revelation 17.